we are in business, man. This car moves. It's got all the gears. It runs like shit, but it runs. All right, I know it's backfiring and popping and it's burning my eyes. It's so rich, honestly, but I don't know. I can't see anything what I'm doing without a wideband, but that'll be here tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow was yesterday and today is right now. Long story short, I got the AFR gauge. I got the new wideband. I got it from a buddy of mine, an old buddy from high school. I hadn't talked to him in like at least 10, 12 years. He hooked me up with this wideband, 80 bucks. It was brand new, never used, so that's pretty sweet. Thanks for the hookup on that. So that I could actually see my AFR readings. Turns out I was obviously rich. I got my AFR's looking good. Right now I'm trying to tune the idle, and this is not going to be like a how-to video. This is me going to be like kind of talking myself through this process, because I am most definitely like learning as I go, because I've messed with Chrome, Honda Tuning Suite, tuning Hondas and stuff like that, but HP tuners, huge learning curve on this. I'm having to start all over. It's a lot more complicated. There's a lot more tables, a lot more things you can mess with. It's whole nother, I almost feel like I'm like computer hacking when I'm using HP tuners. It's pretty insane. It's probably why a lot of people are using this new Holly, I think it's Terminator, Holly, something like that. It's like a self-tuning system or something like that. Kind of takes the complication out of the tuning process. But anyways, let me fire it up and show you how good this car is running now with the AFRs looking good. It starts up so much better now, and just it sounds healthy. Okay, but what I'm looking at here is my dynamic airflow and desired airflow, and also this idle adapt. That's how much airflow it's having to take away to meet the desired airflow. So basically I have to make this number match this number. So it's kind of telling me what I have to do here. It's asking for me to remove 2.5 grams per second for these two numbers to match up. And that's, I'm just going off of at least forums I've read and videos. I'm watching videos like crazy on this. So to change those numbers here, what you do is you come into this table here. Actually, let me exit out. Exit out of that. So what we're looking at here is idle, airflow, base running airflow, idle airflow. This is the so here we go. And one thing I screwed up on the other day is my units weren't the same from this table, and the other one's called the like data logger, like scanner. Make sure your units are the same, or else you're just gonna be going in circles. Grams per second, and this one is in grams per second. Well, it's right there, yeah, grams per second. I'm gonna flash this sucker over and see if I can get the idle closer to where it wants it. Because right now it's like the adaptive idle is kind of taking over to get to the desired airflow. Because you can set like, you can set it where you want to be. Like this is the base, but then there's a bunch of like adaptive tables that'll add or take away air to reach that happy point where it wants to be. But before you do all that, of course, you gotta get your AFR good. I'll be back. This is kind of boring, man. So one thing I didn't consider is that this is not an electronic transmission. It's an old school turbo 350. So typically with an electronic transmission, there's like adaptive tables for when you're in gear. You know, like you've got your park and neutral airflow tables, and you've got your in gear tables. But I cannot do that with the non-electronic trans. So I'm thinking I should probably put it in gear and then check my idle airflow numbers and the corrections, and see what it's asking for then, rather than in park and neutral. I think being in gear is more important. So let me fire it up and throw it in gear, and then see what I went ahead and took away the 2.5 grams. I'm gonna see what it tells me now while I'm in gear. It might be something different. It's in gear right now. It's actually getting better. It's only 1 gram off. So that's interesting. So in gear, it's asking to take away 1 gram per second out of the IAC valve tables, and in park it's like 2 to 3 grams. So if I go based off what I was saying, to get it idling its best in gear, I need to take out 1 more gram, and I'll pretty much be in business. It'll be good. So like when it's in park and neutral, those idle adaptives will take over and like you know, take away or add. But I want it idling the best in gear, I think, so that way, like if I'm idling and I pop it in gear, it just doesn't like stumble and die, you know. It'd be kind of embarrassing. So let me. So right there, it's in gear, and these two numbers are syncing up. The idle adaptive is about as close to 0 as you can get it, pretty much. That's pretty good. Okay, so I think the idle is pretty much good. I mean, I can still mess with like the spark, over idle, under idle. Like if it goes too far, if the RPM is overshooting, it'll take away timing. If it goes under, you can add timing and things like that. I mean, there's still fine tuning I can do, but I mean, as of right now, I think I'm at a pretty good stopping point for the idle. I like the way it fires up. I like the way it idles, goes into gear, doesn't stall or like die. So so what I'm thinking about doing, all right, is taking this car outside and seeing how the fueling looks around the stall speed of 3200, and maybe seeing if I can do my first burnout in this car, even though the turbos aren't hooked up or anything like that. Maybe I can get the fueling right, at least until like, you know, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 RPMs, and see what this thing does. I'm excited that, you know, I could actually see my AFR, because before I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it does seem to have good fuel. It's supposed to be a 3200 stall, but around 26, 2800, it starts to creep and push through the brakes. But I like that 13.0. That's a good number. The turbos, they're not even fucking hooked up. Right now it's basically like, you know, a naturally aspirated setup. But I think it's good enough to actually try and do a burnout. I've got good fueling, so fuck it, let me set on my camera and see what it does. Alright, there we have it, guys. That was Elroy's first ever burnout. That's another huge milestone. Yesterday was the first time, well, not yesterday, but was the last video was like Friday or Saturday. That was the first time it drove, and within a couple days it made the first burnouts, because, you know, naturally that's the next progression. Driving and then burnout. I'm surprised I didn't burn out right off the bat. Well, probably because I was inside the shop. That probably would have been frowned upon. But, you know, progress, making a lot of progress. I have a lot to do. You know, like I said in the last video, I still got to do a complete fuel system. Still got to mount the intercooler, do the turbos aren't even hooked up. I still got to, you know, plumb up the charge piping, mount the wastegates. Ooh, tomorrow the Holley high ram gets here. Yes, that's probably going to be the next video, is the fucking Holley high ram. I'm super excited about that. I've always wanted a high ram manifold, but I've really never had anything that it would like fit under, or anything I'd be willing to like cut the hood up on or not run the hood at all. And this is the perfect car for that, because as you saw, I just completely took the hood off altogether. Because I was planning on cutting the hose off for the turbo and cutting out the middle for the high ram, but that shit takes time. So I just took the hood off for now. Tomorrow, my buddies are trying to convince me to actually do like, we've got like this test drive route, okay? We go like, it's a couple miles, it's like a loop, and I might take this car in the loop soon, maybe tomorrow or the next day. It'll be like the first journey that's outside of a parking lot, because I haven't taken this car outside of a parking lot yet. But yeah, man, I hope you like this video. Hope you like this build. It's been pretty crazy. It's been about a year so far. I haven't really posted like much of the progression of the car. I'm basically starting from this point forward. So yeah, but anyways, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. See you next video. Later.